Welcome. It's always good to see everyone here. Welcome to the show. I hope everyone is doing well so far. Hold on, I have to get my talking stick. Got it. Here. There. There. All right. Welcome, everybody, once again to another wonderful uh D&D stream, which we will be getting into the thick of it in but a moment. Really starting to get into the nitty gritty. I'm glad you're all here once again to join me on this occasion. My name is Grim for Grim Hour Productions. You can also call me Burn. I am the dungeon master of this little game that we have going on. We will be turning ourselves over to our players in but a moment. But I first want to introduce you to a couple of things. First and foremost, this is of course a entirely homebrew D&D campaign, so what you may see here is not what you may see otherwise. Thank you. I got a little Misfits shirt going on. If you see it, it's actually cut all the way off like it's supposed to be. Because I ain't no poser. But past that point, this campaign is completely made from scratch by myself. The rules, of course, are adjusted. The world itself is completely brand new out of my own head. So our players are even including playing different races in different things that you may not see normally, and that's okay. But what I'm telling you this for is that because I build worlds, and I'm looking to open up other campaigns where I have other individuals, not our usual players, a part of it. Because, of course, sharing the story is but one facet of everything else that goes on. Secondly, keep an eye out for these other campaigns that may start coming down the pipeline soon. I am, of course, talking with the prospective players and the world that they are stepping into, which will be a counterpoint to our Etherian players here. Be another continent, another group of individuals, another set of gods and such. It will be a completely new take on what we are currently dealing with. Thirdly, the book is being worked on. The book, of course, should be done by summer. For those of you who are looking to partake in this, there are going to be a handful of individuals that I have spoken to previously, along with others that may be not quite knowing yet, who have not brought forth their wish to gain a handmade copy of the book once it's finished. And I have it essentially to publishing state. It will be, of course, hand bound by myself. It will have a hand done hardcover. It will be printed by my own system that I have here, and then, of course, will be shipped out as needed. Past that point, that's the next big thing we have going on for the production area over here, besides, of course, the prop making and the events that are coming up soon. But keep an eye out for that. So, a few things that I said. Keep an eye out for new campaigns coming around the corner. Keep an eye out for the book coming out this summer that is being produced by Grim Hour Productions with an author by the name of H.G. Rimwell. So that is what we're looking at. Otherwise, I am building a multiverse of Grim, so to speak, where we will be walking into other worlds and such. To give you an overview of where we were before today, at our last session, our party had found themselves near the town of Blackstone Keep. The town itself stretched far beyond the castle walls. For some reason, the civilians were being pushed out, not allowed to go to the keep as it was normally known. Creed, being the paladin and one who has been here long enough, knew something was off when the civilians were not being allowed to take shelter. So, after a few interesting interactions with the prison folk as well as the guards that are there, some of the penal colony individuals, some of the crimson clad soldiers that they have faced with before from Ares' company, and Strangely enough, they let them pass through without an issue, but they found that there was a hole in the sky that had begun bringing forth some type of creatures. Strange rocks falling from the sky, slamming into the ground, releasing these strange turkey like crabs that were coming out and attaching themselves to bodies. Whether alive or dead, didn't seem to matter. Creating these strange zombie like creatures, the party faced down a group, while Okros himself went towards the door to open it inside, as the fortress of the base seemed extremely strange. The structure, the craftsmanship, everything in between seemed to be peculiar to the highest number. It didn't seem like one that was normally built. It seemed closer to something meant to keep things in. This ray of light that was coming through the center, of course, strange arcing energy began to course through it, allowing the hole in the sky to open. This brought forth a number of issues. Between the rocks and everything else in between, it was seeping out this type of miasma that was touching everything around them. Okros, after he busted through the main door, finally making his way to that point, came across a number of guards who had been fighting this large hound-like creature. Its body ossified and armored in certain spaces. On top of that, bones jutting out at weird points, its intestines hanging out, trailing across the ground, it itself letting out this green haze that seemed to diminish as it finally died. Taking 10 guards with it, their bodies that had been bitten and injured festering away in an accelerated state of necrosis. Their bodies withering to nothing in but minutes instead of hours or days. Nez, of course, the changeling artificer, stepped forward to take a look at it, using his medicine to see if this was normal. It was not. They spoke of creatures coming out of the shadows, coming out of the corners of the walls, and Creed recognized the hound that sat in front of him. A much larger variant of what they lovingly called a poxhound. These creatures were used by the Ravenholm fortress many years ago when they had a general heralding from each of these dark gods that had given them powers that had happened during the Godfall. One of them, of course, was the god of plague and rebirth, whose general always seemed to smell of rotting corpses and such, and his creatures, his warriors, always seemed to be bulkier and festering with bile. The creatures they had fight for them were just as bad. The Poxhounds, of course, being their primary force of cavalry. And now here was one, 4 times the size of a normal one, in the middle of a room having been slain by 10 guards. Penal soldiers and Ares Company soldiers alike, one of them being questioned by Okros before being hit with his own spear, simply said that they don't know what's going on inside, is that someone, Balder, touched the gate. And so now it was time to hold the door, to close the gate forever if they were to hold this part of the world, because now it shows that there's something much worse than the gods coming back, and it just happened to be next door in the next universe over. So, let's talk with our players and see what they have to think, what they have to say on the matter, and where we go next in episode 38. Hold the door of Beyond Etheria, Ashes. Welcome, 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 dear friends and compatriots.
Hodor.
I need to switch our reactive over because all I saw was Okros' face, and that was incorrect. Or not Okros, I saw Rexus's PNG behind it, and I was like, there's Gandalf here. Gandalf's not supposed to be here. Get out of here, Gandalf.
I just saw mine too.
It's fixed. It's fine. It's fine. So, my dear players, where we found ourselves before is that you are all now currently standing in front of the open metal doors that were knocked open by Okros himself. Of course, a soldier being squished behind it, but you're seeing a dire hound-sized poxhound in the center of the room. Almost this hazy air sitting around you as Creed brings up this revelation of that he's seen these before, and they're of no good news to anyone. So now, between the creatures outside, the weird crab turkeys, the zombies they create, and now these almost cryptid-like creatures coming out of the corners of the walls, as stated by the guard that was interrogated, you have quite the conundrum on your hands. And so now, where do you stand and what do you do? As the question always is.
I mean, my character would still be just collecting the bodies and burning. From before, making sure it's at least somewhat contained from what I saw from last time.
So you're essentially just collecting the corpse of the fallen guards and making sure that they are incinerated.
Yeah.
You're on mortuary duty.
Yup.
So as you guys see Nez helping pull the bodies into one pile to incinerate along with the Poxhound corpse, what are the rest of you doing?
You know, just typing out stupid pun song. In the tune of Backstreet's Back.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I would be helping get the bodies piled for burning.
Very good.
Creed would... I'll be honest, I don't know what Creed would be doing. Kind of odd to see something you haven't thought of in, well, technically a long time, but it's also been a long time.
That it has. I mean, I guess it comes down to what's Creed thinking at this point in time, I'd imagine.
Oh, great. It's so much better than it was before.
Just great.
I guess Creed would go over and ask him who he serves.
Ask who serves.
If you're talking about the guy, he's already run away. Unless you stopped him on the way out.
What was his... Sorry, it was a long day at work. I'm trying to remember the guy's name, the former general.
Postulus.
Postulus. I think I made a note of that somewhere. So the soldier's clearly wearing his colors and or his uniform. He's going to... So the soldier left, though. He did leave.
You saw the soldier before he left, as he was kind of running away, and he was wearing the color of Ares' company. So he was wearing the crimson half plate of the other Ares troopers that you have fought.
All right.
So there is no one around here who is wearing the green and black that you remember.
Okay. Sorry.
If that's what you were looking for, like that.
Yes,
no
it
one is
was.
no one is wearing the heraldry of Pustulus. The only one that reminds you of it is the fact that he used poxhounds as cavalry.
Okay, so it's more or less similar enough. Okay, sorry.
Yes. But it reminds you of it because you recognize what this creature is and what it can do.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Does Creed notice anyone standing say from the upper levels watching everyone down below?
So let's talk about where you are in this place. I think it's a good time to do it. So this is essentially where you are at this point in time. It is not exactly what I wanted, but it is what we have for the time being. Just to make my life easier in the sense of trying to get this map up to where it needs to go. You all are, well, first off, this map is 15 across. It's close enough in size. Need to pull your faces. Your schmaces. So, for the lack of a better placement, this is where you are. And then, of course, Lucifer. So you're at the entrance here on the bottom level. As for the rest of the layout, you're not entirely sure, but you can see that there is a foyer going forward. And it leads to a chamber with a large brazier in the center. And what you can see along the edges above your head are, of course, essentially gunnery positions, for lack of a better term. Oh, dear God, we're being raided. Why do my sound alerts not go off? Ah! My sound alerts did not go off. Ah! I'm being assaulted. I've been turned into a peanut. Been assaulted.
Assault and battery. No.
Assaulted battery.
That's how you corrode them. I wouldn't do that.
Assault the battery. Assaulted. Malted. Thank you for the raid, Azzy. So I saw you guys were playing the lethal. How are you? Now I'm just knowing my sound alerts didn't go off. I didn't even hear the cool stuff. Damn.
Bad days.
Sad times.
These are dark days.
Dark days indeed. But I saw an angel and an Irish. Always good to have you here. Welcome to the story.
Even better if it was an Irish angel.
Dear God.
You know that fellow's had got a bit of whiskey.
Oh, I want to... There we go. So now I can size this right. So I can go, hiya. There we go. Nope. We hath arrived. Yes, you have. Always good to see you, Angel. So,
I guess Creed just make his way up towards the brazier. Brazier?
Brazier.
Just don't go saying you want to swing. I don't know. The way you said it made me think of chandelier for some reason. Okay.
Swing from the brazier. Yes, of course. So, yeah. So you can go ahead and you can take a walk towards the center point here. You see that these gunnery positions are not, well, they're not armed. There's no one here. And it's very discerning that no one is here.
Where is everyone?
I do not care for this.
With everything happening outside, you'd assume every position to be manned. Grease just looking side to side, upward. Where is it?
There may not be many men left to man the positions, considering what we saw when we first came in.
One thing I can tell you is no matter how desperate things get, there'd be men up there. They'd be alive or dead, but they'd still be up there.
And if it has anything to do with that hound we saw, maybe not.
Presumably these are ballistas, right? Or
Yes.
something similar?
They are a form of ballista that you can see. They are specifically mounted to point downward towards this door. But past that, they don't look out of the ordinary. But as you're kind of talking, you see that the air around you is kind of dim. You can still look and see the shapes of the ballistas, the gunnery holes, the murder holes for archers. It's all very clear that there should be individuals here protecting this area, but there isn't. There's the dead carcass of the dire poxhound in front of you, the dead guards that you've all burned. But other than that, there's nothing. And then, Creed, as you step into that second chamber, you can see, again, another set of holes for ballistas to fire in. These significantly closer, so that whatever would have come down through those doors, if it had made it to this point, would have been point blanked by two essentially locked in ballistas. So this was built to stop something from coming in, people or otherwise. But you can just see the walls just look slick. The stone in here is not as smoothly cut as the stone outside. This looks more coarse, standard masonry work. But it looks slick in the dim light of the small torches that are placed around.
Let me check my feet. Good. I don't. Never mind. See. You know what? I would like to cast a spell.
Go for it. What you got?
Unless I have it. Hang on, I gotta remember where it is. Nope. Huh. I thought I had Detect Good and Evil. I don't think I do. Well, this is awkward now. There goes that plan. Ah, yes, I'll do Divine Sense.
Ah, very good.
I can detect good and evil until the end of my next turn. I can sense anything affected by the Hallow spell or know the location of any celestial fiend undead within 60 feet. That's not behind total cover.
Within 60 feet, you can sense undead behind you, outside, towards the creatures that, of course, you were fighting. Otherwise, in here, you reach out in front of you with your divine sense, and it's almost like you hit a wall.
not.
Hmm?
There's. He's gonna like the whole close the fist and bring it back thing.
Mm-hmm.
Something appears to be, shall we say, stopping. Not in the sense of actively. It's like I'm hitting a wall. Creed's just gonna shake his head. No. Fortunately, further in we must go. He's look over his shoulder. Darian, are you joining us?
Yes.
So,
Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
so as you all get up to the same point as Creed is, kind of having him stand a few feet in front of you, you can of course see again the ballistas, the murder holes, everything that would be necessary for the defense of an entryway, but no one is arming them. There's no sound of soldiers behind it. There's no clatter of voices or armor. It's just silent. And as Nez, you step a little bit closer towards Creed, you can also see in the dim light that the walls seem to be slick here. The stone, of course, like I said before, not as smooth as that outside. It seems to be standard masonry work in here. But the walls still seem almost having a sheen to them for some reason or another. Darian, you see this too. But Okros, you have something interesting go on with you. You, out of the party, are the only one with had heightened senses from your heritage. Being a lion folk, you're used to using your nose as much as your ears and your eyes. And you smell just this around you, is just the smell of decay, which you can imagine is, of course, from the bodies that you dealt with previously. But as you focus your senses forward, as you're kind of reaching out around you, past a point in front of you, kind of what Creed felt, you just feel that there's a void. There's nothing past a certain point down this hallway.
Whatever is causing this void is not natural. Even my senses just cease upon that point. Care not for this place.
Darian, you being a Yuan-Ti, it would not be evidence to the rest of the party, but you specifically, because your sense of taste is much higher because of your heritage, you of course have that taste of just sulfur in your mouth from the decay that was around you. But as you walk forward with the rest of the party, you taste copper in the air, as if you were just sticking pennies in your mouth. But then, of course, as you kind of taste the air, trying to see how far that sense goes, you again just feel nothing past the point down this hallway. And right now, all around you, you can taste this copper. It is almost overwhelming if you were not used to it being a medic.
The air has a taste not unlike blood here. But like Akros, after a certain point, I can taste nothing at all.
Onward. Best chance for answers is further in.
I would like to shed some light on the wall beside me.
Of course. What would you like to use? Just a torch?
Yes.
As you light your torch, and you hold it in your hand and you start shining it along the walls that you're surrounded by, it's interesting that you never noticed it before, but the sheen has a red hue to it. And as you look closer,
This is where our gods have gone.
you can see that the stones are covered with a thin layer of what almost looks like vaporized blood. Now, Okros, you can, if you wish, give me a wisdom check. As you are a seasoned warrior, you have slain many a foe. You have all before you by axe, by mallet, by claw.
Stream is buffering.
Kind of-
and I'm getting this.
Oh, 1 second, you cut out. We heard Okros, you can, and then it cut out.
You came back at 93% speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was saying is that you have fallen many a foe by hammer, by claw, by axe. You can give me a wisdom check to see if you can portray or figure out how these folks passed.
Alright, I'll try. Let's get my rolling tray out. Not that kind of rolling tray, but you know what I mean.
I was just about to ask too.
I'm just gonna say it. Now's probably not the best time for a bowl.
Could be.
It seems like
Advantage on it.
absolutely the best time, actually. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm getting the buffering again.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know what's
Yep.
going on.
well, you're back for now at least.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing. It's being real funky. No, it's not your end.
No,
It's
it's not.
it's on
Damn
my
it
end.
all.
I mean,
I refreshed and now I've got another minute and 30 of ads. Fuck off.
you nerd. Pre-roll shouldn't be. Oh no, it's because it's still. That's right. The ad break was still going.
That's
Oof.
because you're in the middle of the ad.
Ah,
Yeah.
big oofs. Big oofs for Zoe. But yeah, what did you get for your wisdom check?
Sorry, I was trying to ask. Did it again?
The
What?
question is cursed.
The question is cursed.
What the hell, man?
I don't know what's going on. Why?
I was trying to ask, do I have like advantage or anything, or is it just a normal wisdom?
Advantage is fine. Yeah. Advantage is
Then I
fine.
get one more roll. 1 second. Well, my first roll was better. I got a 16.
There you go. All right. So with the 16, you can tell that these individuals were not slain by mortal weapons, in a normal sense. So you would understand what splatter looks like. You've hit people with a number of things. You would know what normal, quote unquote, death splatter would look like. This is nothing like that. This is a fine mist across the entire surface of the stone.
Hmm.
CSI Okros.
This is even dispersion across the entire area. No discernible splatter. This is not natural. Combine that with the smell, and you You said you had the taste of copper as well. I am not looking forward to what we might come across. Would I, because
But, I mean, I'm looking for packet loss. I'm looking for all different kinds of things, and it's just
It could not be on your end. It could be on Twitch's end.
it could
DDoS
be.
or something?
well, it's doing it in Discord too, though.
Yeah, it's
That's true.
weird.
Although if OBS is hiccuping enough that it's like seizing up your system itself, that would also cause Discord to seize up.
Yeah,
What
it
did you
could
say
be.
It's not Creed. I heard
Creed.
Creed say something, but I couldn't hear what it was.
Creed?
Kitchen
Yeah.
to try and make
Oh,
myself
he's
something to
trying to
eat.
make himself
Okay, no.
Sorry, is I just said Twitch mate might be getting DDoS or something. But Creed just keeps walking. Slowly but surely going further in.
Alright. Well, I am going to throw. Well, I'm going to walk up behind. Well, no, it's already lit and stuff. I guess I don't need to throw my torch in there or anything. I'm going to put my torch out for now.
Okay,
But I'm following.
very good.
But also, oh, right, no, sorry. I went to say, with the information I have from Zoe and like my knowledge of out in the wilds, would I be able to roll like a survival check to see if I could put together like vaporization and ozone, see if it has something to do with like electricity or something, maybe?
Yeah. If you want to go ahead and do that, yeah, go for it. Give me nature. See if you can discern what might have done this.
Um, dirty 20.
There you go. So you have heard of how certain people have been taken out this way. I mean, you haven't seen it before because even being exploded by, let's say, a basilisk, a beholder, something along that lines, it's a fireball, ray of enfeeblement, finger of death, all those different spells that you may have seen, heard, etc., they cause the body to detonate. You know, you explode or you perish. The splatter markings here don't even match that. It's like they were just like there's no giblets. It's perfect. It's a perfect just mist. It's something you've never seen before. It's like it is so hard to put your finger on what could have caused it because it's completely even. There's no heavy spots. There's no light spots. It's just a sheen across the entire wall. And so you can tell that just by sniffing that it isn't electricity. Doesn't smell like acid. You don't really know what magic smells like, but you don't feel anything weird. There's no runes or incantations. There's no blast markings. There's no scorch markings besides the spot where you use the flamethrower to burn the bodies. You know, it's just it's too perfect for how this all happened. Even the most gruesome ways that you could probably think of as Okros, that you've seen things occur, would not leave something like this.
Whatever has caused this is unlike anything I have witnessed or heard of. We should be on guard.
Of course.
So, at this point, Creed, as you continue to move forward, you see that there is a wooden door in front of you, about 15 feet away. And you see that the walls kind of turn in. You can see that there are two more small murder holes on your right that you would imagine either pikemen or archers would sit in. And again, the stone just seems to have this sheen on it, but there's no one manning these spots.
Trying to describe it. Creed just looking. He's looking for something, but he doesn't know what. It's only way to describe the look on his head, or like look at his face. You know, face slightly tilted up, eyes just looking around rapidly. You mentioned that there just might not be enough people here. Doesn't matter how many people die. The last line is always man. And it's not.
And even still, as you move down the hallway, Creed's words kind of echoing between his murmurs. The only sound that you all can hear is your boots or paws against the stone. Even the loudest sound is Lucifer slowly crab walking behind you, his metallic legs ringing off the stone pieces. Otherwise, it is just deathly quiet. As if something swept through here and just sucked the sound. It's just gone. It's just strange. And as all of you kind of converge on Creed as you walk, you see the door in front of you is slightly ajar. The one detail that kind of puts this out from the rest is the imprint of what looks like a hand near the doorknob, or handle in this case, being pressed against the wood and then drawn down in like a smear, as if something was trying to push the door open in a rapid fashion, trying to get away from something.
Hmm.
Creed is going to take a moment to deploy the buckler and draw his sword and slowly begin approaching the door. I gotta try to figure out how to describe it. Oh shoot, who is that? Is that Roman style? Where you're behind the shield with your sword head off to your right, ready to strike.
Right. It's phalanx or something along that line.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of what it was, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. And I see he's gonna approach the door.
You approach the door, and it's definitely a door, and it's slightly ajar.
Can we tell which way the door is open?
The door opens inward.
All right.
I want to say I walk up and get up close to, and to have Lucifer hit his protector from right here, because that should encompass everyone from a 15-foot.
Very good.
I'm also going to move forward some, but try to keep up the rear.
All right. Creed and Nez, I need perceptions, please.
Everyone gets 12 temp hit points.
Oh. I have a +5 to that, and I got a 10.
Cool.
Hey, Creed, so do I. And I got a 10.
Wow.
The door looks normal to you.
I don't like that. I don't like that answer. I really don't like that answer.
And don't forget your 12 temp.
I put that on. I'm glad I did. You know, I feel it's gonna be oddly relevant shortly.
Door mimic incoming?
Wait, does everybody get 12 or just him?
Everybody.
Yes,
'Cause you're all
everybody.
within
Okay.
range.
That was 12 temp.
Yarp.
Preach.
A yarg case for bonus points. I'm sorry. It's that bit still stuck in my head because it was a very good one.
I done shotted himself.
To help
know
with
what?
the clearing of the head.
You know what? I 100% agree with you there, Mr. Nez. I have a wonderful plan, by the way.
Ow.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do Korea's gonna take about 10 minutes before we go in.
Okay.
We like just commit and talk about plans, inspiring everyone. And everyone's gonna get another 16 temporary HP.
All right, cool. So everyone has 28 temp.
Yep, and because I feel like it's gonna be oddly beneficial, and I'm never in a position to actually do this, so
Right.
it's kind of interesting being able to finally use that after all this time.
My ears.
Once that's done, Creed's going to use the buckler to push open the doors.
Very good. You use your buckler and you push the door open. And the door swings open, creakingly. Just very. It's creepy sounding when it opens. You know, it's rusty hinges covered in blood. You know, the normal thing. And as you push it open, you see inside a chamber with a number of statues holding torches and, of course, the large brazier in the center. What do you do?
Mm.
FBI, open up!
What are the statues of?
Of soldiers. It's very generic. Come back with a warrant, Cass.
I guess Creed's just gonna push in and push up towards the brazier.
So I'm gonna set you back just a little bit right
Oh,
there.
sorry.
Because as you step in, you feel something crunch underfoot. And as it crunches, you swear you hear a click.
Ooh. Creed's gonna look down. See what he stepped on.
You see at your foot that there was a piece of stone that was cracked, and it seemed to have been laid at an angle. And when you stepped on it, the pieces came back together, crunching something as they pressed down on an object beneath the stone.
Creed's gonna look at the floor around him to see if he spots any more of these things.
Give me perception.
15.
You see two other spots where this is, and you also see a large blood trail here, and I will give you the blood trail. You see a blood trail leading from your left towards the door. The two other locations that you see of these stones, here and here.
Creed is going to sheath his sword. Nez, I'm going to need your help, please.
What else do you want me to touch?
Nez, give me perception as you walk forward.
Uh, 16.
Right. Okros and Adarian, as you see Nez approach Lucifer, kind of crab walking slowly behind him, you two see Creed stop moving entirely and almost freeze up where he stands. Nez, as you approach, get a little bit closer, you see again that Creed is stopped in mid-stride. Again, odd for him. And before he can say anything, you look underneath his right foot at a slightly taller piece of stone tile that his foot is resting on. You can again see that there is a crack in the center, as that is if someone took the tile up and placed something underneath of it before replacing the tile. You, with your knowledge of explosives and weaponry, would know that it is possible that Creed has stepped on some type of mine.
I
See.
wouldn't quite say I want you to touch a lot of things. I'd like you to look at something, though.
While I'm looking at it, is there a way that I would be able to possibly get Creed off of that without setting it off?
Give me an engineering check
Well,
to even see if you could do it.
I was going to point out where I knew there were two others. Or
So you can
suspect,
point that
or-
out as well, as as you kneel down to look at the device that Creed is standing on, he points out the two other spots that he sees cracked tiles like the one that he's standing on.
I would you rather not start messing with the one I'm currently standing on, please. I would dare say I'm rather attached to it right now.
I won't look at the one that he's looking at currently. I'll go over, and my roll of a 16 will be at one of the ones he points at that I can see a little bit better without him on top of it.
So we'll say that you go to the closest one here that is next to the brazier. and you approach slowly and sure-footedly, keeping your eye out for any other items. You see that there are none between you, the device, and Creed. And so as you approach, you see, of course, the cracked tile cracked in 3 positions, or in 3 lines, as it seems to be laid almost like a little raised part. And in between all 3 pieces seems to be this little stem with 3 middle fingers coming off of it. That if you weren't paying attention, you would have stepped on it without thinking about it. And so, with your engineering check and the helping hands that you have, you are able to gently and precariously remove the tile pieces from around this stem to expose it completely. And as you do, you see that there is a small square underneath of it, a cube, if you will, that seems to be covered in these blue glyphic markings. And that you can tell through just your own experience in making and using these that it is some type of mine. What it is and what it does are 2 very different things. In your head, you believe that if you are to step on or touch the prongs, that it would simply go off. You're not sure of what it's armed with, but if you are basing it off of what you have used, such as your refined black powder and such, that it would easily kill a normal person. If it has enough charge in it, or if it is a different type of mine, it could easily kill a number of people within a 5-foot radius of this thing. But the glyphs tell you something different. They're strange. Now, if you wish to decipher it, that would be an arcane check. If you wish to disarm it, it's going to be engineering at disadvantage, because you don't know the design of this device. If you wish to simply try to unearth it and remove it, so it is no longer where it is, that would be a sleight of hand check at disadvantage.
I want to try and decipher it.
All right, give me arcane.
A 16.
A 16. You can't read all of it. You can read some of it. Enough to gather, etc. That this may not be an explosive device at all. That it may have some, but it looks like the glyphs are the beginning of a banishment spell. Also, thank you, Carson, for the bits. Busy night. Love you. Thank you so much for stopping in. We'll see you later.
So it more seems like a banishment spell, basically.
It feels that way. If it is that, is another story. But it looks like that it may not be completely explosive, that there may be something going on behind it.
Well, Creed, this is a real interesting one.
Interesting good or interesting bad?
I mean, it's either like a slight explosive with possibly like a banishment spell with it, or just a spell and no explosive. I'm not 100% sure on this one.
How does that help me?
Uh, well, I'm gonna have to try and figure out how to get you off of this, definitely.
I honestly thought you were going to say it doesn't, but it's still interesting.
That was something that did run through my mind for a second. Oh, sorry about that. Um, Off of like kind of what I've looked at though, would I know if I could just somehow keep those pressed down as I get him off that it won't go off? Or am I unsure of that?
Because you don't necessarily know the entire device design, because you've dealt with mines before, you can assume that if you keep pressure on it, that it may not go off. And that because it hasn't gone off quite yet, because Creed has stepped on it, that seems to be the case. So you may need to find something to hold down the trigger, so to speak, if you wish to move Mr. Creed.
um, and then are like these? Do these look like they can be moved? The statues.
The statues look like they could be moved. You'd have to definitely go and, push them a little bit, or see if they actually can be shifted whatsoever. It's hard to tell from just looking at it, but they don't look bolted down. So, you know,
Hey, Okros,
Yes.
I think I might need a hand in here.
Very
I'm gonna say,
well.
What are you
I'm gonna
thinking
say
of doing?
Lucifer stayed back over here. I'm still attached. Detach. And I want to say I'm like right here right now.
yes.
Uh, I'm thinking about having Okros take a statue right over here to your side and just slowly sliding it on over where your foot is. Unless we have a better idea right now.
Going to follow the others into the room at this point.
No, you all enter the room as Creed essentially, lets you all know that there may be other things here to be wary. But Nez has also checked the immediate area you are in.
All right. Well,
Uh,
are you certain that the statue will not simply crush this device?
uh, right now it's off of, well, let's see how, could you just at least see how heavy it is for the moment?
Very well. I will attempt to move the statue.
With your strength of too damn high, you you pick up, like, you touch the statue a little bit, you kind of push it a little bit to see where its weight is, how heavy it probably could be, and you can tell that it's probably an easy 600-ish pound statue. It's made of stone. It is in the shape of a soldier of some kind, of what era it may be. Who's truly to say? But it would be heavy enough to substitute for Creed, and that you could move it relatively easily.
Yeah, it's fat enough that it fits Creed's.
Rude. Rude.
Yes, I can certainly move this.
Alright, if it doesn't seem that bad, then Creed, are you good with us trying this?
I really rather you safety and I try my odds of jumping back.
I don't know. That's like the least way with an explosive that has a trip, or at least anything that has a trip on it.
Yes, but the odds are also better that in that scenario, I'm the only one who gets hurt.
We don't all have to be standing right here. I'm trying to just figure out another way to get you off of it with no harm at all. And I think you should be able to just slide it right over.
I mean, it sounds like a solid plan in my book.
You're not exactly unbiased.
I mean, listen. I gotta have a little bit of bias. I think you can do it.
It's like meeting up with a guy at the bar, and you're like, "Man, I'm thinking about taking up smoking." He's like, "Smoking makes you look pretty cool." You know, it's all the chicks. Well, what do you do for a living? Oh, me? I work for Marlboro.
It's like talking to Fonzie. Like, yeah, wear a leather jacket and hit bump jukeboxes. That's how you get a girlfriend. You know. So, what's your plan, Stan?
Well,
Look, blood shredder going on left. There's another one of those things over there too. Right over there. I will try my luck. I'd really rather you not get hurt trying to save me. I've been through worse. A lot worse, arguably, but still.
Either way,
Still.
I suppose. I am still ready to move the statue if need be.
One way or the other, I was going to just not be in the way to make sure Creed could actually move as the statue moved. What, Chris, what do you think's a better idea? Him testing his luck or us moving that statue?
Hmm. What would you estimate the blast radius of this device to be?
The thing is it seems more like a banishment spell of the type. over an explosive. So I'm not even really sure what the radius will be.
That is not ideal.
And with the fact that they have multiple throughout the room, I'm not even sure if it's just like contained to like at least a little bit of an area, or if it can hit for a decent radius.
Hmm.
Darian, give me a perception check, please.
Sure. Mm. 1 second, looking for a button. Found it. 24.
Very good. So as they are talking, and they're trying to figure out how to get Creed out of this pickle, you look past them. North of you, to the bottom of the screen, whatever you want to call it, and you see the shape of this slowly approaching large hound-like creature that looks very close to the creature that you saw dead in the entryway. It doesn't seem to make a lot of noise besides it just kind of dragging its entrails along the ground as its body just kind of sloughs and schlucks as it moves slowly. You watch it enter the room as it just keeps looking at the four of you, as Okros, Creed, and Nez are busy trying to figure this out, and the shape of it's kind of obscured by the brazier, but you are just at an angle. You see it slowly enter the room. And at its feet, you see a cracked tile. And as you see its foot hit the tile, you hear a crunch, a click, as something goes off. There is a blinding flash of light and the sound of what feels like thunder in this room. All of you startled. Creed, I need you to roll me a dex save, please.
Let's see if there's anything I do to help cheat this myself. Because I have a feeling. I get a +2 to all my saving throws to everyone within 10 feet of me.
Yes.
Yeah, even with that +2, that gets me to a 9. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Creed, by the flash, you're taken aback as you lift your foot up instinctually. And no one else sees that as you all watch what happens to this dire bear wolf thing, the poxhound, the dire poxhound, come through the door. As when the light fades, you see that the front half of it has been sheared off clean, and underneath the where the detonation was is just a purple square of a glyph. And so half of it is gone, as if it was sliced by a cosmic knife, as its back half just kind of slumps to the floor and oozing out its ichor and life fluids. The front half of it is disappeared completely. And as you all watch that happen in an instant, Nez, you look down at your feet as you see that Creed has stepped off his tile. And Creed, you realize that you've stepped back as now all of you are looking down at your feet.
Oh, Chris, why do you have to be so fucking heavy?
was gonna ask if I could do a perception check or a dexterity check to get the fuck out of the way, because yeah. But
Well, thankfully, as you're all looking down, as you go to make your move, you all instinctually jump away from it. You get away from it in an instant. Creed, you leap backwards. Okros, you shove the statue over and leap over it. Adarian, you just yeet the fuck out into the corner. Nez, you just pick a direction. You start hustling. You go between the statues towards the pillar. You all just get away from whatever the fuck this thing could be. And as you all dive away, holding onto yourselves for dear life, worried that whatever is going to happen is going to just take you all out, you just see smoke, a very thin stream of smoke, come out from between the tiles. As whatever it was doesn't go off.
Creed, you must be really lucky that you stepped on a dud.
Or his fat boots broke it.
either way, thankfully it has not detonated.
Sometimes luck favors certain people. In Etheria, I don't wear boots. I can't.
And as soon as you say that, Creed, the smoke disappears as a small explosive charge goes off, shattering the tile and throwing fragments of dust and debris all over you, but not injuring anyone. It seemed that when you stepped on it, you must have cracked the fuse casing, so it would burn, but would burn slower.
By the power of cloven hooves, he stepped on it fucking weird.
He stepped on it fucking weird, man.
Creed is just going to like stand up and dust himself off, and very carefully step it back into the room.
Yes.
Hmm.
Ah, Cass, you heard oozing and now you're awake. Good. Good. Welcome back to the land of the living.
Indeed.
Well, I'm going to say we don't go down the middle.
Should we go off to where the trail of blood went? No?
That seems rather obvious, doesn't it?
Well, that leaves one path left to us then. Aside from leaving, of course. I feel like that probably wasn't an option.
Um,
Not particularly.
I think. How would I ask this question? So, in Etheria, are a lot of the keeps built somewhat similar with very few changes? Like the layout's generally the same?
Sometimes, but from just what you've seen from the outside of this place, uh, you think it best not to assume anything about the structure or building of this particular keep.
Watch, watch your step, please. He's gonna go around the outside of the room.
I want to just pick Lucifer up and throw him on my back right now and not have him deployed.
Very good.
Jump across the room.
So I'm just
Lucifer
gonna
will
throw him
activate the
over here.
trap.
Lucifer will just sit out of bounds for a minute. He's in the magic pocket.
Yeah.
He's in the pocket, boys.
Well, he's going over there. So then are we going go this way then?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll make our way over there.
Just like the moving.
Cass,
Oh,
do not
God.
finish that statement. Don't
That's what I
finish
hope
that
God is
statement.
about.
I see you.
Oh my gosh. God dang it, Ken.
You darn gremlin. I swear to God.
She finished the sentence.
Damn it. Pocket pudding.
Pudding pops.
You, you know what? That's fair. Yeah, that's fair, I guess. It's fair. Pocket pumpkin? Ah, yes, of course. Everyone has a pocket pumpkin. Totally something normal to use for whatever reason. But of course. Pocket push-up? Uh-huh. Okay. So you can see that between pocket pump. Shut the fuck up. That's enough of that. You can clearly see on this side of the wall that between two torches is a small wooden door. Small being smaller than the doors you've come in through thus far. And that from what your eyes can tell for the time being is that the only spots that had those cracked tiles were the three that you could see. So unless you want to investigate the floor to make sure that there's no other surprises, it's hard to tell. And Cass, of course I thought you were going to say that. Why wouldn't I?
But of course.
Oh, I do want to investigate.
Okay.
I got an 11.
An 11. So with an 11, you put upon your eyeballs that the floor looks normal.
Well, I don't see anything else right now, but I'd still be careful, guys.
Well, Shall we then? Do we want?
I. Hmm.
Bree's deferring to you guys on this one. He's already over like 1. So I'll lead you to any place except this room.
Hmm. Well, we've either got the blood trail or this way.
Creed was saying he wanted to go this way over here.
Blood trail does seem rather obvious. When that creature proves that it's now 50-50.
So the third one you just set up is the dead one, right?
The one that you can't see anymore here is the dead one. Yes.
Okay.
So you know that there is one here, there's one here, and there is a blood trail there, and that this guy stepped on another one.
How about there? Better. No, I can't see what you're doing. I just have your chat open.
You're trying to be sneaky. Sneaky boy.
No. Once you hid the one, like, and I was just like, all right, I don't know if he's putting more shit out. So I'm like, no, I'm just getting your chat.
Stream sniper. DM sniper.
No, thank you.
I was already using the stream. I didn't realize. My bad.
Wow.
I was wondering why the fuck that was there.
Okros, give me a perception check at advantage.
All right.
My cup sprayed me in the face. Cringe.
What an asshole.
Yeah. Well, I closed the lid too. I was being nice.
I watched it happen. I witnessed
got
this
him.
act of streamer violence.
I got a 21.
So Okros, you feel that you can count on your lucky stars today. Because there is a cracked tile next to your foot.
I'm going to point it out and carefully step around it.
Very good.
Am I going through the door?
Yeah, you easily push the door open and you step through. And you can see blood trails leading. Here, I'll just do more art because I like doing that. Yes. Let's make it. Damn it, makes an orange line. You monster.
That's some new blood.
I'm going
It's
to bring up
orange.
the owlbear for now so that I can't see what he's doing because apparently I wasn't supposed to be watching that.
Fool of a
You see blood trails that direction. And then, of course, you see a kind of a bloody mess there as well.
Lovely. Plenty of blood trails around here. Amongst other viscera.
around and slowly follow.
Eating a burger.
And be careful
Berber.
to get around that.
Berber.
It's Berber time. What?
Darren, come on.
Okay.
Grumble, grumble. Grumble noises.
Man, like I just saw like your character like wig out, snap back there, back and forth a couple times.
So, Darian, looking down this hallway, you see that there are blood trails leading to stairs. Leading stairs that go up and towards the ballistas that were not manned. Okros, towards your blood trails, along with Nez, you two see that it leads into some kind of secondary room, possibly to secondary bunks, maybe officers' quarters. As Okros, as you look around the corner, you see that there's another large statue holding a torch, and then leading to what looks to be a barracks directly to your north. North being the top of the map, for all intents and purposes.
All right. Well, I suppose let's investigate this room and see what's going on here.
As you step inside the officer's quarters, you can see that the blood leads to a large pool in the center. Limbs kind of spread out as something came in here and ripped apart people or a person. It's hard to tell. Hodor! That's correct.
Hodor.
And there's a little bit of blood coming underneath all the doors leading to these little private corner bunks, so to speak. And you can hear wheezing.
Did you say I could hear wheezing from the bunks?
Yep, you can hear wheezing from the corner bunks.
I'm going to silently motion Nez over and point at the bunks.
Well, I'm right here with you.
We appear to have a survivor or something else hidden.
Oh,
Nez, as you step into the room, you see the bunk that Okros pointed out has the wheezing behind it. And as you kind of inch yourself a little bit closer to kind of stand next to him, you can almost feel like you're hearing words, but it's very difficult. You'd have to really either get closer, you'd have to really focus on listening to see what it is.
is it like this?
It's
or
the
this?
far one, yeah. This one right here. Here, just to.
Oh, yeah.
Lurf.
I'll
There you go.
step in a little bit closer.
So as
Let's
you
see if
kind
I
of
can hear.
step into the
I'm readying a throwing axe just in case.
as you step into the bunk kind of next to Okros, you can see that it is like an officer's bunk or a watch sergeant's bunk. Blood on the bed, scattered things, very straightforward. But you kind of step closer through here, listening more intently as you start hearing this wheeze almost start to sound like words. Now being closer, it's a little bit easier to hear it, as it almost sounds like the words "help me." Just like it's coming through screams and moans of this sound coming from this bunk, but muffled.
I almost feel like I'm hearing "help me." Okris, you want to just have my back as I get closer?
Yes. I'm more than ready to attack in case.
All right, I'm gonna get up closer to try and see if I can actually see what's making the help me.
You can't see
The
inside the bunk room, but you hear something moving very clearly. But it is. So you know something's moving, but it's hard to tell what, and you can hear the words "help me" kind of muffled coming to you through the door.
which way did the
I would
doors
keep
open?
flame ready
These
just
open
in
outward.
case.
Outward.
They open towards you.
Dum, 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 dum. What's that radius again? 10-foot cube. On stealth. Yeah, I can. Okay. All right. I'm gonna open the door, Okros. Whenever you're ready.
Very well. Throwing axe at the ready.
All right. I'm gonna open the door.
As you open the door, you are met by one of the strange zombie-like creatures from outside. As you hear it continue to wheeze and say the words "help me, help me," as it latches onto you with both of its arms. I need you to give me an athletics check.
Oh, that was so close. That's a 7. It was on a 20 for a moment.
Dang it, Bob.
Dang it, Bobby, indeed. And it definitely rolled higher than a 7. And so it grabs onto you with its arms as you see its chest open into those weird teeth as you're basically getting pulled closer to it. Okros, if you'd like to throw your hand axe, sir, it's going to be a -5 to the roll because you're going to be throwing past Nez's head.
Okay.
Throws, anyways.
I
I don't blame him.
That's a 16 plus a 12 minus 5, so 23.
Yeah, so you throw it as it slams into the head of this zombie.
Oh.
Just you threw it. You cut out.
On
Welcome
Twitch is
back.
doing the weird thing again. Yeah, it did that weird zoop thing. Anyway, yeah, so you throw it into the head of the zombie.
Very excellent. Then that is a 1d6. I believe that right. Yes.
It's like 1d6 plus 12, because it's proficient and strength based. You're just like, hey, kick.
Hiya! Yo. Okay, there we go. That is 10. Yeah, 10 damage.
So you just throw it into the head, thunks in, And as you see this axe go past your head and just scrang right into the center of it, as you feel its hands kind of declaw from your shoulder as it kind of slumps forward and you kind of shove it off of you to the side as it goes limp and falls to the ground.
I'm just gonna go, well, thank you. And this is why I
Get
asked
the
if you were
leftovers
ready. uh, well, I guess whatever soldiers are left have become this.
What fun.
And with that phrase, we switch to Adarian and Creed. Adarian and Creed, what are you doing?
I heard we switched to and then robot noises.
For the love of Meshuggah.
Meshuggah.
I mean, Creed's very carefully watching where he steps. He tries to follow everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, Creed, I would imagine that you essentially make your way over to Adarian. I was LeBonked. Ugh, my brain.
Oh my god.
And Creed, you can see the same scene that is pointed out to Adarian, Okros, and Nez, is that there is a large blood trail here leading to the officers' quarters, officers' bunker room where Okros and Nez went inside. That's right. And then you two see a blood trail leading down this hallway towards the unarmed or unmanned ballistas and the stairs leading up to somewhere.
So I want to try and check and make sure that the hallway in front of me is safe since it's kind of narrow.
Yeah. What would you like to do? You want to do investigate, perception, throw a rock?
Investigate, yeah.
All right, cool. Roll investigation.
19.
So as you kind of skulk along the floor, kind of checking for things, looking for things, you see that there are no traps in this area. There's no cracked tiles, there's no tripwires. It's all clear leading up to the staircase. It just seems that this blood trail is significant, that whatever was attacked here was dragged back this way towards the staircase.
Read copious amounts of blood withstanding. It seems the path to the stairs is safe for the most part.
What do you mean?
I mean, there are at least no traps here.
Oh, is that something? What? Why did it appear something was dragged that way?
Possibly? There's a lot of blood. I was just checking to make sure that the way in this direction is safe. If we're investigating this way, you're going first.
I'm going to say we should probably clear one floor.
Fair?
Creed is going to try and start heading down this tunnel to try and take the corner.
All right. You see, as you round the corner, you see a statue of a soldier holding a torch, much like those that you saw in the other room, but this one seems to be larger. His armor seems to be slightly fancier, seems to be better made in detail, possibly of someone of importance, or just a different model they used for the statue chosen. Oh, sorry. But to the north, as you cross the corner, you see that it looks to be a barracks room. Very much akin to a guard barracks.
Before he gets too far ahead, I'm just going to move up to Creed.
Very good.
That's not the move thing. That's the drag thing. This is the move thing.
Why was your ruler so big?
I have no idea.
I get
Notice
told
that
that all the time.
Giggity.
Ditto.
Ditto.
All right. So Creed is going to draw his sword again. It would be more than likely that Bag's dead.
I'm going to
It's
stick with
fine.
you for now if you're planning to go this way. I don't think any of us should be splitting off alone.
Man. You're not wrong. All right. So I guess we're at the door then.
Mm-hmm. You see that the door is open. The way you can see inside and see the bunks and foot lockers that line this room. And as you cross that corner going up to that threshold, you hear the sound of a squelch and a whimpering scream. As you look behind you, you can clearly see Okros having thrown a hand axe into what looks to be one of those zombie creatures you faced outside as Nez throws the carcass to the ground.
Now that would explain where some of the defenders went. I assume there'll be at least one or two of his compatriots ahead. So prepare yourself. Creed's just gonna walk on in.
As you walk in, dear sir, you see a number of bodies on the ground. But as you walk in, you hear a revolver fire and plink off of your buckler and ricochet into a wall. As you can see that there are 2 dead zombies and a dead crab in this room, with an injured soldier towards the back. He's on his rear, leaning against a bookcase, holding his gut that seems to have been cut open by what you can assume to be the long, lacerating claws of one of these zombies. And in his other hand, he's shakingly holding a large caliber revolver that he just fired at you as you walked in. And he just seems to yell at you as blood is dripping down his face, obscuring his vision. No, stay back! You stay over there, I don't know who you are.
You shot at me.
You looks like one of them. I can't trust anything that comes through here.
I'm talking to you.
So did they.
I'm Creed, Watch Commander in service to the War Master Leandros of Ravenholm.
You see his revolver kind of go down as his arm kind of relaxes against the cupboard he's sitting against. He goes, I've never heard them say things like that. Must mean that you're not them for now.
I'm going to be approaching on your left.
You see him nod solemnly as he just kind of, you see his body relax as you see that he keeps looking down the another doorway that's to your west.
There we go. As soon as we get inside, I need you to watch. Apparently there's another door to our left. Keep an eye on it.
Understood.
Right. So as you two enter, Darian, you kind of step through the door and hug the wall going west. Creed, you step in about 10 feet or so towards the man with the revolver. And Okros and Nez, at this point, you hear the gunshot go off, and it pulls your attention towards the guard barracks. To the west. Yes, to the west.
I think we need to go check that out with them.
Seems so. I retrieve my hand axe as well before I leave.
I imagined as such. Mark your kill, etc., etc. Okros things.
Yes.
So Okros and Nez, as you two step in, you see the same scene that Darian and Creed saw. 2 dead zombies, a dead crab, and an injured soldier with a revolver leaning against a bookcase / desk that he's kind of taken refuge against, with a large laceration across his abdomen. And so, Creed, by this point, you have basically gone within about 5 feet of him, and you see that he is worse for wear. You can tell that the wound across his abdomen is severe, that you see the peeking of intestines past his hand as he's holding in what he can, as you see that, well, give me medicine, Mr. Paladin.
That's a 2.
So he just looks like he's having a bad time. You can't tell how severe it is, but from anything else that you can't see physically, you're not entirely sure how long he has left. But as you approach, he just looks at you, blood dried to his face. As he goes, "Watch, Commander. Haven't seen one of them in a while. I ain't seen a lot of things. But you don't wear the colors. Who are you?"
I told you who I am. Now, I must apologize for what's about to happen.
What do you mean?
You say it's a bookshelf, but it looks like a fireplace right next to me.
It's you're standing next to a torch. It's
Well,
like a desk with
I
a lamp.
I like to close with him when I said that. Sorry.
Okay.
I'd like to put like right next to him. Yeah, again, this is a fireplace, right?
It's a desk with a lamp.
Oh, it's a desk with a lamp. Oh
Yeah.
man. Oh, so much for that plan. I was gonna make him miserable. I was gonna put my hand in the fire and then
You're
fucking
gonna
push
try
his
and
guts back together
cauterize
and lay on
him?
and then lay on hands through the cauterizing.
Oh, Jesus.
He was not gonna be having a good time. But still, nonetheless, uh, Creed's gonna say, "You know, I'm sorry for what's about to happen," and he's gonna put his gauntlet down. And he's going to try to push this man's. I rolled a 2. All right,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about medicine
You're
right now.
you're gonna try and basically push his giblets back inside and seal it up with magic, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. So well, give me a wisdom check, please.
We check. Perfect. See what we got. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's a net 1.
Yeah.
Pretty wide.
So
plus 2, that's a 9.
as you push in his innards to make them innards again, he starts howling in pain as you're doing it, and as you apply your lay on hands, you apply about 10 points of it to try and get him back up to fighting strength. And as you are just shoving it back in, you can feel that the flesh and such is melding, but it's melding in the wrong places. As he's just gurgling in pain. And let's see. Yeah, he just keels over as you give it to him, as he goes unconscious from the pain that he's experiencing. And so it's hard to tell if he died or not. And like some of his intestines aren't really like inside quite well when it healed. It's just it looks like a mess.
Yes.
Your Honor, I played oopsie poopsie.
Adarian, his gurgling cries draw your attention as you watch Creed botch whatever it was he was trying to do. As Okros and Nez, you two enter the room.
You know, Creed, typically when you're torturing someone for information, you ask questions while you're doing it.
I'm not attempting to torture the man.
Oh. What are you doing over there, then?
Wait, look at him.
Sounded.
Etheria, get over here.
Okay.
What in the hells did I just walk into?
Darian,
Uh,
please give me medicine to see if you can fix this situation at all.
You gonna fuck this guy?
I prefer I don't know. Gross. I'm just
That's
gonna watch down
18.
this hallway.
I was just about to say, I'm just gonna go this way.
What'd you roll, Zoe?
18.
18. So you can see that as you use your medical brain, you can tell that the guy is hypovolemic, he's in shock, and he is now gone into decompensated shock. And so
They don't even compensate him for it? God damn.
you and the puns today.
Decompensated. Worse than not compensating. They took his compensation away when they did it.
Mm-hmm.
Those bastards.
Yeah. So you walk up and you immediately see what's going on. His like intestines aren't quite like melding right. Like they're all kind of just mishmashes. Like the magic was trying to heal it, but doesn't know where things are going. And so you pull out your medical bag and you essentially lean him on his back. You lift his feet up. You're going through the process of trying to get him back into some kind of realm of understanding. You give him essentially a pain medication through his arm, and you start moving through the methods of trying to cut and replace his intestines by cutting the new flesh that is melded as adhesions to the intestine. As you kind of get it all nestled, you kind of take out this large piece of gauze and press it in, and that's when you kind of take Creed's hand and push it on top of the gauze, where Creed, you don't expend any more points of lay on hands, but with the small amount of magic you use, you essentially seal it shut with the gauze as basically a pressure bandage. As a Darian, you essentially stabilize him to a point. You can't really fix him past what he's at, but he is now not actively dying or in excruciating pain. But he is still unconscious.
All right. Well, the good news is he might not die now. I don't think we're getting anything else out of him for a while.
All that matters is that he'll make it. Look, I'm still trying to figure out to a certain extent this whole magic healing.
Darian, you can answer this question on how magic healing works with a wisdom check.
Is that what he asked? He cut out partially, so I was
Yeah.
trying to decipher what he said. Okay.
He's basically
yeah.
still trying to figure out this magic healing business, and you basically be able to give him advice.
Okay. You said wisdom?
Wisdom check, yes.
21.
Oh, I was hoping you would have rolled a nat 1.
No.
I really was. How does it work? I don't know either, man.
I was kind of hoping that too, honestly.
Yeah, it would have been way funnier. But no, so Darian, as you basically set this guy up to be in recovery position, as you can't really do anything else for him with what you have, you basically lit Creed in on a really big secret of how magical healing works versus regular healing. Regular healing, as in bandages, sutures, gauze, medications, etc., heal from the outside in, because you are either closing up the wounds, you are closing them, clotting them, giving them medications, herbs, all that kind of stuff, removing bacterium, etc. Magical healing heals from the
Sorry.
inside out. So in that sense, you're healing from the core of the person to the surface layer. So if anything is severely damaged, if you don't take certain precautions, you can give yourself really nasty scarring by using magical healing to fix problems. which is why when you try to push his intestines back in and you didn't really get them in quite the right spot when you did it, the healing magic went from the inside out, and that's why you had a bunch of adhesions along his bowels. Instead of them just kind of forming normally with like a nice solid piece of skin on it, it just kind of bargained because that's where it was.
Fucking Rexus in chat nearly killed me while you were explaining that.
Mhm.
Sorry.
It's just, yeah. I was waiting for the Nat 1, like, to use Cass's response of Nat 1. I don't fucking know, guy. I'm just a guy. I don't know, dude. Ah, I'm being raided again. Shit, where's my sound order? It's not playing again. Fuck, and I know they're working.
FBI, open up!
Ah! No, they have a warrant this time. Shit.
Oh,
Oh dear God.
Dear God. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome.
Quick, turn off the port.
You're here for the gold?
Japan.
Well, sorry to say, all the gold was taken by the Yanti. So you have to take it up with him.
I stuck it all in the paladin's pocket while I was teaching him magic healing stuff. Take it up with him.
Creed doesn't understand the value of gold, dude. Like you screwed yourself there.
Got it. Bring it on. Perfect. So, welcome, Raiders from Jim Tech. Thank you, Jim, for the raid. I appreciate it, my guy. I saw that you were playing Monster Hunter Wilds, being a hammer main. Big appreciate on that. Big respect. For those of you who are coming who don't know me, my name is Grim. You can also call me Burn. This is Grim Hour Productions. This is where I do my D&D and music stuff. Tonight we are on episode 38 of Beyond Etheria Ashes, where we are currently maneuvering slowly through this compound with our party, where they've come across magical mines, zombies, and the paladin just basically tried to stuff someone's innards back inside and made it very bad for that. So, thank you all for being here. If you want to stay up to date with D&D stuff, I have the YouTube stuff link down below. If you want to catch up with my art stuff, it's on Instagram. If you want to keep up with D&D stuff, the Discord's also down there, and I do this stuff every Friday. We're looking at opening up another campaign possibly on Saturdays, or maybe rotating in between the Fridays. Who's to know? Secrets. I'm full of secrets. As there's possibly 2 more campaigns that I am potentially writing for later. But I'm a DM of 20 years. I've been doing this for a hot minute. I've been playing since 2nd edition when I was a wee youngin'. And I get to bring these crazy people into my world of magical and physical nonsense. I am an OG. I am from the olden times. Which is why a lot of my players tend to find physical nonsense, much like a banishment fragmentation mine, which is one of my favorite inventions. And then also learning about how healing magic works in this world, where, for those of you who don't know, healing magic goes from the inside out, not the outside in. Whereas normal healing goes from outside in. You know? Fossil Age? No, I get called ancient and a fossil in all the other channels I work in, such as Azzy and AJ stream. So, I'd appreciate not being called a fossil in my own house. Gonna run and get food, you'll be lurking. Appreciate it, Jim. If you guys got a raid and run, I know how it would be. Thank you for coming in anyways and raiding in. Stay if you need, stay if you want, doesn't matter. Drop a follow, and we'll see you when you get back. I keep forgetting this cup is empty. Damn it, I have to get my other one.
Go get some more water, damn it.
I have my bigger water here. It's just that was my nice flavored water. It was my fruit punch.
Well, you done fucked up. You should have done it the other way around.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, I appreciate not being called the fossil in my own house. I immediately call him a dinosaur. Yeah, I expected that. And I am a down man during Pal World. Yeah, I will get more water probably during our little intermission here in a second, just to run upstairs and refill everything. But we'll cross the bridge when we get there, because we were just having Creed and Darian try to not kill a man by helping him, as the keyword being used, "I'm so sorry for what's about to happen," was said by the paladin. So,
Proceeds to rearrange the man's guts.
and not in the fun way. You fool!
Indeed.
So,
Walked up to the man like,
Surprise, motherfucker.
yeah. So, Adarian and Creed, as you guys fix him, fix being a very strong word for what happened. Nez and Okros, as you guys walk down that hallway, see there's a couple more corpses down there. It looks like they're dead zombies. I'm not gonna put the tokens down because they're too big and they would take up more of the battle map. It doesn't matter. But in the storeroom, you find a number of bodies of guards. Just kind of thrown out along with the bodies of these. I'm going to make them smaller so they don't take up so much bleeding space. Worst be a command with Firelights been a campaign. You make it sound like I am forcing you to never play again, Cass. I literally have plans for you and Heather and like other folks as well. Like, relax. Geneva suggestions. Listen. So, Okros and Nez, you find a number of bodies in this room with these weird, almost blobulous, zombie-esque looking creatures. You would remember them being known as Manes, M-A-N-E-S. They are a very, very low on the totem pole, quote-unquote demon. If you've played Baldur's Gate, they're the blob people that Will is threatened to become to fight on the front lines of the Blood War. That's a Mane.
yeah.
They're technically demons, but like they're not. They're super low totem pole. No, they're a horse's hair. No, you're thinking of a Zane. They're lemurs? Lemurs? No, they're not. Shut your mouth. Shush. Shush your face. Lemurs are on the docket list for fighting blobs, but Manes are also up there. Sorry with the blobs. Why aren't you saying this in voice? Why are you saying it in chat? Manes are also part of the blob forces. I'll fight you. Because it bothers you? Thanks. Appreciate. Anyway, Okros and Ez, that's what you see. You see a bunch of dead Manes and soldiers in this room, just strewn apart and ripped apart among the boxes of the storage room. Lemure? Absolutely not, Els. Absolutely not.
Well, quite the scene of carnage, isn't it?
Yeah, and these look like some new ones to us.
Indeed. Repulsive creatures. Couldn't even make a good trophy out of them.
I really want to know what Baldur's up to.
I suspect we'll find out shortly.
So Creed and Adarian, after you have dealt with the survivor, you can see that Okros and Nez have gone down the hallway that Adarian was meant to be watching before that whole cacophony occurred. And as you two catch up to them, you come across a number of corpses in the storage room that they're kind of surveying as they slowly move past them. Now, with Darian, you're going to have to make another medicine check here, bud.
Okay. 17.
So you can tell that these mains may not have dealt all the damage to these soldiers, but there is a lot more blood than for 7 corpses.
Whatever combat happened here was on a larger scale than the remnants we're seeing is letting on.
I don't suppose you could put that in terms the rest of us would learn.
Probably not.
Ignorance is bliss, then.
There should be more bodies here than there is.
Oh, wonderful.
That. Yeah.
Well, not wonderful. Very bad, actually.
Indeed. Either something has dragged them off to feed, or they're not dead anymore. Not many.
Onward and upward.
Do I see anything looking into this room?
No, the only thing you see looking into that room is the fact that it looks to be a forge, an active one. Inside, you see a number of tables with works in progress, some barrels, some chests, some crates, all kind of strewn around, as with a large 4-ported forge in the center that's still quite hot and still burning its large coal center. A couple of torches line on the pillars, giving you a dim light that lets you to easily see a large 400-pound anvil sits in the center of the room next to a quenching bucket, full of what seems to be a mixture of old used oils. Otherwise, a number of other tools sit on the outside of the room: grinding stones, smaller finishing anvils, workbenches, wood pieces, wood carving, etc., all to try and fix, repair, and make weapons for this fortress. The weapons look even odd up close. They seem almost, I wouldn't even say foreign, I would just say strange and out of place. There seems to be a sword that sheath is able to be used as a blunt weapon, but if you unsheath it, it becomes a regular sword. A spear that becomes longer. A sword that turns into a whip. It's all just works in progress that are laying about these benches that don't make a whole lot of sense at first glance. Especially to you. Being the artificer, you think that this would make a perfect sense to you, but the way they're putting together is flawed, incorrect, as if someone was just throwing things together off of what they saw. But you see that there is something sitting in the coals. Something is still sitting there being heated, as if it was left behind during whatever chaos erupted in here.
I'll go over and take a look.
You see inside this fire is some kind of large blade. It's hard to tell what it is. There seems to be a piece of paper tacked above the forge of a shape and a sketch. All seem to be drawn off of charcoal impressions and multiple sketches and words kind of strewn about it. The blade seems massive. It's easily 3.5 feet long and seems to have a strange curve to it.
Does the sketch say like what they were gonna have it do, or no?
I mean, as you look at the
Or
sketch,
what their idea was?
the sketch seems to be that of a large scythe-like weapon. It spoke of imbuing crystals inside of it. It spoke of using a specific type of wood that was being pulled through the gate. This wood that seemed to have magical properties and give both strength and a light-weighted build to this scythe. But this weapon in its finished form would be massive. It'd be unwieldy to anyone of a normal, average size. At this point, you all enter the room as you see Nez kind of studying the drawing as, I guess, Creed, you clear your throat.
I was, yeah. Sorry. Terribly sorry. I had something caught in my throat.
I can't tell if that was in character or like you had like a Dorito attack you or something.
Because of Nez looking at something and going, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, me being funny, but also I am eating popcorn.
Yeah.
So
He just about died. Holy shit.
That's why I have to ask, was that like Creed trying to get his attention, or is that Blackburn trying not to choke on popcorn?
little column A, little column B.
Little A, little B. All right, well, you have the floor, Mr. Creed.
I'm still chewing the popcorn.
Wow.
Wah.
So Creed comes in. Any signs of anyone left in here?
No. The only thing that, seems to be is almost like a site that they were in the process of making and they just left it here in the coals.
I would presume it's less that they left it here, and whomever was to be attending to it is no longer with us.
I would have to agree with that.
In Creed, Nez does point out that there's a few other weapons left on workbenches that all seem to be works in progress that seem to have been left to their own devices, probably also during the conducive panic that swept through this fortress. You see some form of greatsword that goes into a sheath that looks to be the sheath is actually meant to be used as a weapon as much as the blade is. You see a longsword that the blade seems to unlink itself, so it can become almost like a whip-like weapon. And then, of course, some type of strange spear that seems to have mechanisms built inside of it. And then, of course, the large blade left in the coals that, for some reason, hasn't melted yet.
Yeah, he's gonna ignore all that.
Very good.
He's gonna keep an eye on the door in the meantime.
Very good.
Okros would like to check out the large blade in the forge.
You take a look at the large blade in the forge, and it's a large blade in the forge. as Nez still continuing to scan the notes that were left above it, tacked above the forge port where the blade is currently sitting inside. And Nez, as you continue to look through it, as you feel Okros kind of step to the side of you as he's looking at it, it's the metal it says that it's using also seems to be foreign. It's all these different pieces all have strange names, just blight steel, rot wood. It's you have crystals being pulled from this world called the Veil. You have this other bits and pieces being pulled from this other place called Tyrannus. It's just like a shopping list of just these exotic components that all never seem to make it here. Or if they did, they're not here in the room. But this blade is massive. It's easily, I would say, 10 inches from the actual blade to the back of it. It's 3.5 feet long, including the curve of it, so not including the circumference. This weapon would easily stand 8 feet tall, without a doubt, and would have to be wielded by someone of the same strength, if not more, than Okros.
I had to look over at that, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okros, I mean, this kind of seems like a blade that you could possibly use, but I don't think all the materials are here to finish making it. I wonder if,
Is it possible to get the materials here? Do you think they would have them stored somewhere?
that's what I'm curious about. Because of this list is pretty fancy and I'm getting really intrigued by it.
Show me what you got.
I don't know any of these materials, and the way this blade is still, hasn't melted. I kind of want to tinker a little. I think I could follow these notes.
And if you require my strength in the forge, I'm willing to lend it.
But yeah, I want to try and find these materials.
Good. The note says that the parts were taken from their respective worlds, or from their respective places, so to speak. And they say they're supposed to be brought to the storeroom. But the storeroom you were just in doesn't seem to have anything of use in it besides corpses. But it says that there's a larger locked storeroom on this floor.
Maybe on the other side then? The parts might be in the room.
Mayhaps. Paw cheesy.
We still need to finish sweeping this floor anyways before we move on. We might as well look for it.
Creed, you go with me trying to make a new weapon really quick while we're here? I'm taking silence as a yes.
I'm laughing because it's the monkey meme. The artificer finds an active forge, neuron activation.
Yup.
It is. It's neuron activation for Nez. I mean, I don't know what you wanted.
As soon as you said, "Hey, yeah, you want to go with me to go get the parts to make another weapon while we're here?" I just started laughing. I was like, "That's all it is."
I want
Yeah,
Show
it's like,
me what
you
I
see
you
an
wanna
active
build.
got.
forge. Huh? What? Forge? All right, all right. You know, Tissifer, jonesing for a new thing to make. I suppose I'll go with you. Are you sure it's wise to try to make something? Well, we're walking amongst what is most likely a massive tomb filled with creatures.
Well, I mean, for the most part, we've cleared the floor, and I feel like we're gonna sweep it before I touch anything else.
There's a whole other half to the floor. And that's assuming nothing has come down behind us. Or in front of us.
Well, we're gonna have to find out one way or the other. Or after we.
Fine.
Sorry, I missed the plan on account of the DM being adorable with his wife in chat.
Shut up, Zoe.
Basically, we're just gonna go clear and get items and come back.
Cool. Y'all lead, I'll follow you.
And then Okro should have a new shiny weapon.
You throw it out. This seems like a horrible idea.
It'll be fine.
It'll
Most
be
ideas
fine.
are
It'll be fine.
No, it still is here. Perfect. I'm glad I put that in there. Very applicable.
Nez and I saw the freaking blade in the forge, and all you just hear is.
I mean, I knew when we walked in the room and there was a giant forge in the middle of it that this was probably where this was going anyways, so I made my peace with this a while back.
Made your peace with it. But what? What?
What?
Oh, darn. There's an active forge here. I guess that means I have to make stuff, guys.
Oh,
Darn.
I have to wait for guys to make
Arna.
stuff.
Oh, I suppose I will.
I suppose.
But oh, Creed's going out with you on this foolish errand.
All right. So, as you enter the inner hall, you see that there are two staircases to your south, both leading up. And then there are two doors to the north on either side of the large hallway running down the center that you imagine the dire poxhound had gone down. The two small doors to your north lead to ballista positions that are unmanned, but there are signs of fighting along the staircase, blood and dark ichor covering both. Inside this inner hall, you don't see anything out of the ordinary, but besides this single large brazier in between two columns. Across to your east, you see another door that is slightly ajar, and four statues of soldiers holding torches in the corners. And there is, of course, a water feature to the south between the staircases that have two small alcoves that seem to have burning incense and offerings, quote unquote, to whatever they believe to be the deity of this realm. But as you stand in this room, the void all of you felt before seems to be clawing at the back of your mind. Where before it was just a simple wall that was acting as a barrier, here it seems to be actively reaching out and touching your minds. almost like an itch you can't scratch. Like something is trying to pull you somewhere. That or something trying to get in. Otherwise, this room looks relatively unassuming. What do you do?
Look, Creed's gonna look at the floor.
Creed's gonna investigate the floor. Absolutely. Go ahead and roll me investigation.
Indeed.
This floor is made of floor. I got a 4.
Floor is made of floor. What'd you get, Creed?
I got a 4.
You got a 4 for the floor. Absolutely. The floor looks normal. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Ten out of 10. Well, welcome to the pillar.
I would also like to investigate the floor because, yeah,
Very good.
I almost stepped on one of those fucking things. Oh boy, that's not much better. Let's see what that is with my bonus, if I even have one. Investigation? I have a 1 to that, so I got an 8. This floor also looks like 4.
So,
Everyone else is doing it, so I'd like to roll investigation as well.
so everyone is like, so
Yeah.
who is not investigating the floor? Because I just imagine all
No,
of you
I'm
are...
investigating the floor.
I rolled a 22.
Okay,
And I rolled an 18.
very good. All I can see is the 4 of you like shoulder to shoulder crawling across the floor on your hands and knees, like looking for anything out of the ordinary. You're like, we've been burned by this shit before. It ain't happening again.
You land minus once, you're not getting another one, okay?
Especially when the void is pulling at her mind.
The void
It's like
is
Spider-Man. Everybody gets one. Only one.
only one. So, you see nothing unassuming on the floor. It looks like a floor. It is a floor. You can tell that the tiles, none of them have been moved, none have been cracked, otherwise by normal wear and tear. There are no raised spots, depressions. There is nothing. Between the 4 of you looking together, it is a floor with doors. Like, you got doors on your floors and you got tiles on the floor. It's fine. There is nothing nothing to worry about with the floor at this point in time, and that is me being honest to God, straight up and down, because someone got a 22. So there is nothing here.
I've heard of Mordor before, but I've never heard of Floridor. Is that like the Florida of Mordor?
You know what? Yes.
You'll have to ask Nez.
Middle Earth, Mordor, and then its lesser known cousin, Flordor. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, there is nothing of risk. There's no mines, no tripwires, no pressure plates, etc. on the floor. The floor is unassuming.
Can I do some kind of a check in regards to this mind clawing business? I prefer my mind unclawed.
Give me a wisdom check.
20. Dirty 20, not net.
Yeah, I figured. I figured you'd be celebrating a bit more if it was a natural 20. You can feel that it is coming from one direction. That it's almost as if like you kind of do a little bit of testing, so to speak. So you step back a little bit and you feel it wane as you become extremely aware of what's going through your mind. You step forward and it becomes a little bit stronger. You kind of step to your left and right and nothing changes. So you realize that it's pointing towards the hallway to the east. Or to the door to the east that is more than likely attached to a hallway, but regardless, it points towards the southeast.
Sorry, Zoe is directionally challenged and looking for a compass.
It points
there's
to the
the
bottom of the
compass.
map. It points over this
Okay.
direction. You're
Thank you.
feeling it from yonder way.
So, whatever is clawing at our minds appears to be focusing more towards the hallway across the room from us. I'm not sure how thrilled we are on getting closer to this, so that's up to y'all. I'll follow you.
We do need to finish the sweep. So
Yonder way. Come on, Els. Yander ways. Yonder way. Yonder way. That yonder way. You know? That there's a yonder way. You know, you gotta yell it at people sometimes. Let them know.
No, man, it's Ontario.
So you're telling me there's a yonder way, and Ontario.
Mhm.
Very good. Thanks, though.
Just keep on moving up.
that'll be where I go. Oh, I'll go through the door.
I'm gonna follow pretty close behind Nez for now.
All right. As you guys step through the doorway and into this hallway, you can feel the itching in your mind becoming stronger. But then, Nez, you can clearly see that the doors here are marked exotic storeroom. Not to be confused with exotic butters. Exotic storeroom.
But that's where the exotic butters would be stored.
Mayhaps.
So you're telling me that the void we've been feeling is the exotic butters?
No, I'm not saying that. You're saying that, and that's silly.
I'm gonna say that's his eyes light up, going, "Ooh, that's the door I want." Am I able to actually open it?
It is locked.
Oh, gross!
And Darian, as you step into the hallway, you can clearly tell that from being aware of where this mental presence is pulling from, it's pulling from here through this doorway that is closed in front of you.
I would say for now that we be careful not to go through the southernmost doors, at least just yet. That seems to be where whatever this pulling effect is coming from.
I'm good with that. I'm more concerned about what's behind these doors.
I'm more than mildly curious as well.
Well,
And your
Shall
first
I
instinct is
then?
to break the door down, really.
well, he looked at it and he says that he can't get it open, so.
Given what we've encountered so far, mayhaps check the door for traps first.
What do we want to do for a check for that?
A normal investigation for trap checking.
I got a 6.
The door looks fine to you. You think you can't find a damn thing. You think the door is A-okay.
I don't see anything with the door besides the fact that it's locked.
Do you think you can lockpick it, or shall I destroy it?
I could try to lockpick it. That would be what, sleight of hand?
Yarp.
Or
Yarp, it would be sleight of hand.
I'll try and pick it really quick because, maybe actually us making noise might not be really what we want right now. I got a 23.
Well, I think that's good enough. So, you pick the door open. You pick the door with your finger. You say, this is the door that I want. And then you lockpick it to make sure that it opens. And so it swings open, swings inward to be specific. Give me perception really quick. Specifically Nez.
7.
Did you say 7?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I roll a good one, then I roll a bad one.
Nice. Absolutely. I'm here for it. So you step through the door. As you swing them in, you step inside. Give me a dex save.
Oh no.
Oh,
Save.
all you see here inside.
Yeah,
That's
does he just
the
fucking
my
get some
buddy.
ragdolled around?
A
10.
random chair comes flying out of Mach 10 and nails him.
What
His final words.
was your dex save?
10.
A 10?
Wait, add 2.
A 12?
12 then.
Still not enough. Good try though. As you step inside, and above your head was a rigged shotgun.
Oh.
So as you step in, this just goes off, and you take 22 piercing damage. As you just get thrown into the floor. So for all
that 28 temp.
So for all intents and purposes,
Hey. Yeah. Yeah.
By the way,
Twitch, you're killing me. Twitch, you're killing me.
Is anybody
My eyes are
here
just lighting
proficient
up as I'm
in
walking in, and then the shotgun just pelts me to the floor.
Yeah. Twitch is just killing me over here. It's doing a big cringe. Just keeps doing the fucking drop out nonsense. But yeah, so you step in and you just get hit by a point blank shotgun blast. take 22 piercing, get thrown into the floor by the concussive force of it, as all of you jump back in response.
Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right, guys.
The repulsive shield I had took it, guys. I'm okay.
That doesn't
What
the hell
sound
happened?
like all right.
I'm just gonna like slowly get up and like look for what hit me. And when I see it, I'm like, oh, I guess that was trapped to the door.
It's just you look up as you see a double barrel shotgun, and you're like, ah, yes, of course.
I have to say, at least their range of traps is diverse, going from banishing portal landmines to double barrel door rigged shotguns.
Gotta stick with the classics, you know.
You know, I'm happier. I wish to look to see if there's anything else, even though there probably isn't, because since I probably hit it, but you know, it never hurts, right?
You're right. It never hurts to check, just to be double, extra, totally, triple sure. Roll an investigation.
I'm blind as a bat.
What'd you get?
7.
Room looks good to you. Ain't nothing to worry about.
I'm just gonna go back to that list. What was the stuff that I was looking for again?
You were looking for rotwood, blight steel, and some type of crystals from Tyrannus.
I'm gonna go one step at a time and go over to like this area and start searching for the materials.
Okay. So you kind of look at the different crates until you find one that you is kind of open a little bit, and you see it has this these pieces of wood inside that seem twisted and gnarled, like they could pull off a really just twisted tree.
So I'm gonna guess then that would be the rotwood.
More than likely.
I'll grab that.
Roll me a con save.
And aha. 27.
So when you pick it up, you immediately feel a chill run up your hands. As you can see that your gloves took most of it as the leather on your palms starts to degrade.
That would be why it's called rotwood. Hmm. I am able to put that like or store that though.
You imagine that
Or no.
giving the pieces to your helping hands, they'd be able to hold it since they're not organic.
All right, I'll pass then that to the helping hands, and then I'm going to move on to look for the other two.
You see some strange ingots lying on the ground. That it's steel that seems to be almost a dark coal on the oxidative surface. And as you approach, you feel the air get cold around them, but easy enough to handle. And it seems that these you can easily pick up, and the notes say you only need one of them. And you assumed this to be your Blightsteel.
All right. I'm going to pass again off to the helping hands to hold it.
The last container seems to really stick out to you, as it looks to be almost a display case along the back wall. Inside, there seems to be these long, slender crystals in it that seem to have this sickly green glow to it. The notes here say that you require... you require 2 of them to finish making this weapon.
Does the note say anything about picking these up?
It does not, but you can see that they're in a display case away from everything else.
So either they're fragile or they're and how many is there?
There are 4 in the display case, and you need 2 of them.
Let's see. Do I see anything around that it seems like they were carried in to be moved in?
You see a number of
Because-
discarded gloves and linens around the floor, around the display cabinet, that seem to have an accelerated rot as well as burn marks on them.
Hmm. Burn marks. The helping hands could probably carry that, but I have so much already in the helping hands. I want to bring my materials I currently have back to the forge and come back to get this.
Okay. So that's easy enough for you to do. You simply walk on back towards the forge. Kareed, give me a perception check, please. Popcorn Man. Creed,
Really sorry.
I need a perception from you, sir.
Got it. Nope.
What'd you get? Did you
That's
get...
a nat 1 + 5.
Nice. Perfect.
I want to go to. I want to go to bed.
You
I'm gonna go to
notice
bed.
nothing. Nothing
You just
out of the
want this day to
ordinary.
be over with now.
Yep, you notice nothing out of the ordinary.
I'm sorry for whatever happens.
It's all good. This is what's making it more interesting.
Well, I'd like to roll decently once.
No, I mean, that's fair. So Nez, you move past Creed, who tells you that everything sounds good. And you step back into the inner hall. And give me a perception.
All right, let's see how good mine is. 14.
Everything seems a-okay. Nothing out of the ordinary, and you can easily make your way across the inner hall to the forge.
just stopped in here in case you were gonna say something.
Nope. You just drop the stuff off and you can make your way back.
All right, I go over here, drop it off.
Little Nez walking across the hall, and then back to the storeroom you go.
And I'm gonna, even with the way that stuff seemed like it was burning, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna put the gloves on the helping hands and have the helping hands pick them up.
Fair enough. The display case is locked as you go to try and open it.
All right, let's go to lockpick it then.
Sure.
21.
Yeah, you open it, or you unlock it. You don't open it yet, but you unlock it.
Yeah. I'm done. I'm gonna slowly open it.
As you are looking at the crystals, give me another perception, please.
Not 20, 25.
Good. You see that each crystal seems to be in its own locked collar, and that you'd have to unlock each collar before you're able to retrieve the crystal. The shotgun slowly shoots you.
Slowly.
And what you also see is above each crystal is what looks to be a piston. And as you slowly open the display case window, you see that one of the pistons starts to drop. And it looks like that you have about 6 seconds to try and unlock the collar and get the crystal out before it is shattered by the piston. No pressure.
So then, like, just a quick sleight of hand and grab.
You gotta unlock that collar.
25.
You unlock the collar easily, and you have the helping hand grab the crystal before the piston shatters it. And as you unlock the first collar, the second piston starts to move.
14.
That second crystal is shattered. The third piston starts to move.
25.
You are able to retrieve the second crystal from the collar before it is shattered. The fourth piston starts to move.
And 23.
You are unable to unlock the fourth collar and retrieve the third crystal. So you now have 3 of the 4 crystals in the display case. Holding each of them in your helping hands, it seems to be burning through the leather gloves that the helping hands are currently using. But with the quickness, you shuffle very fast back to the forge, knowing how fragile these things are.
Friggin' Nez lockpicking this shit all.
Yeah, Mission Impossible style.
It's really...
God,
So you begin to work at the forge. Now, the rest of you, where do you go? You see that there's a hallway to your north. There's, of course, the doors to the south where the brain itching is coming from. Oh, and there's 2 doors to your north, to be specific. Do any of you go back to the forge with Nez? Do some of you
I'm
stay
going
here to
back with
explore?
Nez, yeah.
Okay.
I offered to help him if he needed help at the forge, so I would have gone back with him.
Very good.
Well, everyone else head back. I'll head back.
Very good. So, as you're all kind of standing in there, you're all either holding sentry or assisting. Nez, you start going over your materials, and at this point, you can see that the blade is still red hot or white hot and is ready to be forged. And as you're reading the notes, you come to the realization that this blade, the reason that it hasn't melted in the coal forge yet, as it is being automatically belloused by another source of air, is that the blade itself was made out of this weird blight steel. And so you needed another ingot to make the attachment for the scythe. And so as you begin to follow the notes, you're going to need to roll engineering at different steps to make sure you make it correctly. The first step, of course, is to create the handle, which you need to craft out of the rotwood as well as the crystals that you found. Now you have 3. You only needed 2. And so you imagine you can set the third one safely somewhere or have it be held by the helping hand away from you while you work, whichever is up to your nature. But you're going to need to give me engineering checks to make sure you make this correctly.
I want to see something. I need that. And I have slots and stuff. I'm debating on using a long rest potion, so I have my flashes for this.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm going to use a long rest potion, so I have 4 flashes.
You're like, I'm thinking about, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. So that means I still have 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm ready.
All right. So as you read through the notes, you realize the handle is very long and will require multiple pieces of this rotwood as well as the 2 crystals to be imbued inside of it to be the power source of whatever this invention is meant to do. So the first thing is you're going to be making the lower handle. So you step over to the workbench with the crystal and one of the longer pieces of rotwood, and you begin to work. Roll me engineering.
24.
You are able to cut it and shape it correctly and cap it with what materials you had left over to make the lower half of the handle. Crudely, but effectively. And the one thing you notice is that the rotwood is able to house and not deteriorate around this crystal. And as you make the first lower half of the handle, you realize you have enough left over because you took your time, measured twice, and cut once, that you have enough left over to make almost a pseudo handle for a crystal shank for the third crystal that you have.
I do that.
Okay. And so now I need you to roll me engineering to make the upper half of the handle.
20.
You were able to make the upper half of the handle relatively well. You have some wood left over, but not enough to make anything of use. But now you have the full handle created. You set that down near the anvil, and you see that the handle itself is about 8 feet tall, which is taller than Okros, surprisingly. And now begins the instructions on how to finish forging the blade itself. It tells you to take the other ingot and put it into the fire to heat it up to white hot and begin forming it into a collar for the blade to sit in the handle. It tells you that when they did this previously, they had to use a Warforged chassis to hammer the metal out. The notes say that this metal is extremely durable, it requires a high amount of strength to form it, and requires precision strikes and patience to make sure it is formed correctly.
And this is where I'm probably going to need Okros' strength then.
Yes. So what's going to have to happen with this is that you are going to place the ingot into the coal fires while the blade waits idly. And when you pull it out, you're going to have to give me engineering to make sure you tell Okros how to strike and how to form this metal in the way that needs to be done according to the notes. Okros is going to have to give me athletics to make sure that he is able to put enough strength behind it to forge it correctly. And so it's going to have to be both of you getting successes in tandem to correctly finish this step. So,
All right.
starting with the engineering check for the first round for Nez.
25.
All right. And now Okros with your strength or with your athletics, please.
Da, da, da. Plus, what is my athletics again? 1 second. 22.
All right. The first round is complete. Once again, I need the same check from both of you.
$20.
Okay.
23.
Very good. All right. And the last check, once again, with passion.
I got 16.
Ooh. 30.
So the last part of the collar looks a little bit fucky, but for the majority of it, it is formed correctly. And so at this point, following the notes, you pull the blade out of the fire. You walk Okros through a last few steps on how to shape it correctly and make sure that it is the straight and sharpened. And then you attach it via the collar to the handle, and you let it all cool by setting it into the quenching rack. When you pull it out, this weapon is massive. And once it all cools and pulls together, you see that the blade itself seems to emit this green haze that seems to fall as if it's denser than air from the blade's edge itself. And for some reason, with everything put together, none of you except Okros can lift it effectively. Now, the note says that where they got this plan from, or this idea, is they found it on this world of Morbarian. They don't say of where it was. They don't say of who it was. All they say is that the plan that they found this, the sketch they found of it, is that it was wielded by individuals that were easily 10, 11 feet tall. And that they were able to swing this with one hand and cleave through entire just swaths of enemies with a single blow. But the weapon is complete.
Well, of course, I think you're the only one that can use this.
Lovely. All right. Are there any gloves or gauntlets or anything that I could wear that would fit that I before grabbing this, just in case?
shots or anything around here that I could give him?
You imagine that there's not going to be much that will fit him normally, but you're in a forge and you can make things work. And so with the gloves you had left over from your helping hands and some of the scraps from the storeroom that you had, you're able to fashion pretty thick Okro-sized gloves. Which,
All right, here, try these on.
in the mechanical sense, Okros will give you an advantage on your con save when wielding this weapon.
Oh, lovely. Alright, well, I will wear the gloves and then try picking up the side.
You pick it up, and it seems not encumbered. It seems unwieldy. It seems odd. And as you kind of hold it in your hands, you kind of get used to the balance of the weight. You see that how they would able to use it with one hand is that the weight is forged towards the center of the handle so that it's the pivot point of the strikes. But for you, still, you need to use two hands, but you can kind of mimic the same idea. And you don't feel that you're proficient with it yet. Maybe after some time training with it or using it, you could get better. But as you grab it, you feel the cold chill run through your hands, even through the gloves. And now I need you to make me a con save at advantage.
Okay, where's my con save? Tab back over to that. Okay. And am I... No, I'm not close enough to Creed. Okay. I don't think I am. At least for his aura.
I would say that you're in the room with them. I'll give you the +2.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, that's a good thing. Okay. That's 28 in total.
You have no
My
ill
other roll
effects.
was not that good.
You have no ill effects from wielding the blade. And before we go on, because we're getting close to end game here, or end of session, I want to make sure that Adarian knows that you have inspiration from saving the man's life from the past room, because I forgot to tell you about that. And Nez, you gain inspiration for forging the plague scythe.
Hey.
So, with that all put together, you all feel the ground shake. As just the keep gets shaken by something. Whether it's a quake or otherwise is unknown. But it does shake. And of course, Creed, you still don't hear anything from the inner hall. Everything seems kosher for the time being. Adarian, you don't see anything come through the stockroom to your north, as it seems all well and good in time. But now becomes the question of, where do you go from here? You know that the southern hallway on the eastern side of this floor leads to whatever is whispering and pulling and itching at your minds. But you haven't found Balder, nor have you found the rest of the soldiers that were here. So where do you go?
I have a strange feeling we need to go to that door. Darian was saying we shouldn't go through yet.
I leave it up to you. You know that there are two staircases in the inner hall that are going up, and that there's, of course, the door with the itching feeling in your mind.
I think whatever's causing this effect on us, we should try to at least understand its nature before we go forward in case it ends up biting us in the ass later.
I guess really quickly too before we leave. Did I make a stabby?
Yeah, you made
That
the
left
crystal
over.
shank. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a secret tool you can use later.
I'm just making sure it's added to inventory. Uh, I mean, there's really not much else on this floor. Either up or through those doors. So I don't know where those doors will take us.
What do you think, Creed?
Agreed. Did he perish?
Food coma, perhaps?
The workday got to him.
Mm,
You popcorn's too hard.
popcorn too hard. Yeah, mayhaps. So we'll say, for all intents and purposes, that Creed will follow you as you guys go towards the door with the itchy brain feelies. Itchy brain feelies. Shakes Blackburn. Oh my god! Oh my god! The doors in front of you, as you walk towards them, say restricted area, gateway personnel only.
Hmm. Weren't they talking about a portal?
They were.
Well, then I'm guessing the portal's back behind this gateway that they're talking about with Aryan. That might be where we're also getting that itchy sensation from. Which also means probably Baldur's there.
Mm, I'm not sure what would be the better course of action here.
Remember, they were saying that the gateway is also what's allowing these creatures to exist.
So the gateway needs to be dealt with no matter what.
I think we left Akros in the forge playing with his scythe.
He's alive. But yeah, so what do you do from here?
I guess first we check the door for traps.
It is not trapped.
Does the door open or is it locked?
It is open. As you push open the door, you see that where the lock would be seems to have been a fist was put through it as the metal is blown inward. And the door just swings open when you push it.
A
Someone
fist
wasn't happy to be locked out.
through it. Did it open inward or outward?
Inward.
So someone punched their way in then. Hmm. I'm liking this direction less and less, but I don't see any other options here.
This is the way we have to go.
Lovely.
Before that, let's see. Everyone's got their own potions.
So, as you're checking your inventory, you step in and you see that there's a large iron crossbar gate. It seems to be bent in certain places as whoever was here before picked it up themselves to go under it and then replacing it thusly. But as you step into this room, you can feel the whispers, the itching in your mind become clearer. As I need all four of you, well, Creed isn't here, so it's fine, the three of you to give me wisdom saves.
In the back of your mind, you hear the whisper, Hodor.
Not quite. Maybe. Who's to say?
8.
Nice.
I rolled an 18.
Nice.
Well, you can be at 20 since Creed's right next to you.
Damn. You said a wisdom save, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a -1, so that'd be 19 in total.
So, Adarian, you feel like you have whispers travel across your mind, telling you the promise of becoming even stronger if you give yourself to a new patron. Someone who could tell you how to cure any disease, to help bring forth healing if
Okay,
you surrender to them.
So if it wasn't active before, I'd like to turn my ring of mind shielding on now and shut that shit down immediately. Thank you.
You just go and turn that off immediately. Yeah, as soon as you turn it on, it just goes back to, I don't know, like your game show music that you like listening to in your head when you're thinking.
Nice. Huzzah! My Looney Tunes are back.
Looney Tunes back, hooray! Okros, you hear whispers of that you are a patron saint of vengeance and justice, and that you have brought death to many a foe that has treaded on both. You should come and see the potential you have.
I do not care for these whispers.
And Nez, in your mind, you don't have just whispers, you see almost through your mind's eye. You see the party betraying you. You see a scene of you betraying them. You see yourself taking the circuit that the broken spire is built on and using it to seal the gods away, becoming one yourself. You see you slaying Balder and taking his place. All of these flashes happen in an instant, different timelines, different choices. As you see this weird squid-like being sitting in your mind, simply going, time and time and time again, the choices, so many choices, the plans, everything is coming to fruition. Now, Nez, I know you're a man of intelligence and you like to have a good chat. Why don't you come and chat with me? Down the ramp you go. We're waiting with bated breaths.
Who are you?
Nah, my name is not of importance. You see that I am simply the changer of fates. I am the one that knows all, sees all, entropy, control, magic, chaos, everything in between, the layer of plans, the breaker of chains. I am known as Zeech.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Khaleesi.
I am someone who's very interested in you. So come, speak with us, the four of us, down here at the gateway. We're waiting, and we may have all eternity. You do not. Don't dally.
I'm just gonna be sitting here like, wait, what is like trying to just go over everything that just flashed really quick.
You were overcome with a sense of paranoia towards your compatriots.
Nope, I can believe it.
And so now the
That'd be,
four of you approach the wrought iron gate. Okros, you don't have to roll. You're strong enough that you can easily wrench it out of its hinges and set it to the side as the four of you descend. And I'm just going to click and drag you. As the four of you wind yourself here. Don't mind it's called the portal to the Underdark. Listen, it's a pre-gen, fight me. You find yourself at the bottom of the ramp, looking at what looks to be a large archway built out of statuesque parts of metal and lightning and otherwise. A number of green, four-armed creatures stand around it. Their skin is folded and chitinous, and they have one large orange eye. They seem to be kneeling, bringing forth green energy into this beam that is firing from the ground through the fortress into the sky, where it has bored a hole through, and you can see it ripping the sky in twain, much like you saw when you came to the keep. And then in the center of it all, you see a man. A large man standing about 9 feet tall, his skin covered in blue lines and ink, wearing a fur cowl and everything else in between, looking straight out of the mythos himself. Balder standing there, not as a conqueror, as a victim. As you see, green wrought iron chains are straining him down against the floor as his head is tilted backwards, light screaming from his eyes and his mouth as his energy is being used as a focal point. And you can see that the doorway behind him is open, leading into a plane full of misery and terror, of swirling colors and souls in sights that would drive a normal man to madness. You are no normal men. You have stared into this kind of abyss before, and now you have found yourself at a precipice. As you stare deeper in, you see the miasmas of these different creatures begging to come through the door. You see the pushless skin of a large, globulous creature holding a bell in one hand with antlers strewn and rotting from its head. You see another creature made of blood-red flesh, black adorned armor carrying a large axe, slamming at the gate, trying to break through whatever barrier is there. You see bright blue and orange purple flames scorching at it as this large, almost bird headed creature with a staff with a comet on the end of it continues to bring magics against it. And as all three of these patrons see you, they stop. And they smile. And that is where we end today's session.
Oh boy!
I am mean. I am the meanest motherfucker in the goddamn valley. So, that is where we end tonight. Of where our heroes face down 3 greater demons of their patrons that have chosen them specifically. As they see the man they sought to kill chained to the floor as a conduit for reasons beyond your knowing. Hold the door, indeed, my friends. Hold the door, indeed. So let's do a quick breaky downy, shall we? I really
You gotta stop letting this man have access to the memes.
Okros will never stop with the memes.
I meant you, nerd.
Oh, well, So, let's do some quick breakdowns. Starting with Darian, because Creed is not here.
Creed's not here, man.
Getting to build the giant not Mortarian scythe for Akros was pretty neat. That was bonus. Not getting blown up / banished to another dimension was good. I enjoyed that. No Slanesh, 0 out of 10.
I don't know what to tell you. She goes against
No,
Twitch
this is
TOS.
cool. I like where this is going. This is clever. I'm looking forward to the conclusion, provided I don't die. I don't. No, thank you. Next.
Next, Mr. Nez.
I definitely enjoyed while we were all bickering of how to get Creed off. You just had one of the Poxhounds step on it and just
Oh,
Better to
I
show.
oh, so we're just like, and that's what happens.
Yo.
Better than show. Better to show than tell.
I was looking later on because I was trying to find a way to help Nez carry those crystals, which I forgot I had to spell magic. That's my bad.
Hey, so you know the super useful thing that I could have used. I forgot I had it. So oopsie.
It was definitely fun to get to actually make something. I was happy that potion didn't go to waste.
Yeah.
Because of that last roll, I actually did a flash. That's how I got that 16.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, it wasn't wasted.
I love you getting hit by the shotgun going through the stockroom door.
That was actually really funny too. That was
Remember to grab that.
No.
Damn. Oh well.
But and then the whispers in my head.
Yeah, you were the one with the lowest wisdom, and I was like, cool, I actually get to do a voice and like images for you. Great. I love it. And of course, it's the one with the Zeech whispers.
I've been wondering since you first mentioned clawing at our minds that this was a psychic thing, and then the second you said whispers in your head, I was, yeah, no, I have a thing for this.
Absolutely not. Ding. Yeah, so that's a thing. Yeah. Anything else, Mr. Nez?
No, that'd be it.
Mr. Okros.
I mean, I was excited about building the scythe, and then I realized what the materials were, and I was like,
Uh-oh.
But yes, oh, 1 second, I forgot to turn this off.
There we go. Yeah, I just the whole bit with the landmine was very funny. I enjoyed that as well. Although I was very tempted to just move the statue and get it over with, but that would have been interesting.
Through Creed, basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
pretty
like
much.
The actual statue.
Yeah, there was the solution that I had in mind to deal with the landmine Creed was standing on was that if he stepped on it, was that you would essentially have to have a Darien doing sleight of hand to get Creed off of it, while Nez holds the pressure on it with the helping hands, while then Okro sets the statue on it. And it would have to be 3 high checks in a row in that order to make sure it doesn't go off. But if it went off, it's going to be in your face, which could be bad.
Which,
I don't like your solution.
yeah.
I like how we did it.
Yeah, the way you did it, of where it was a percentage roll and Creed jumped backwards away from it, as it was, he thought it was a dud, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, that one. One where we just got really fucking lucky for no reason. Yeah.
Frickin', of course it would be. I mean, I knew it was going to be the Chaos Gods from last session, but of course it would be.
Yeah, because, you know, they were in the last campaign. They were in Beyond Etheria, Beyond the Veil, back way when, because they were the 4 generals that helped Leandros.
Can confirm.
Yep, can confirm.
Terribly sorry.
You're good, buddy.
Back.
Oh, welcome back. All good.
The trick apparently is when you put your feet up, you immediately go to sleep.
And that does
Yes.
happen.
If it makes you feel better, I almost napped twice during this, so.
It's quite all right. That's why we're ending it here, so that everyone can go do the snooze. But yes, Mr. Okros, anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing that I can think of off the top of my head right now.
Very good. Mr. Creed?
I got nothing.
All right. My
He
favorite
didn't go
bits.
boom.
He didn't go boom. Yeah. My favorite bits, besides Creed healing that guy completely wrong and the mines, because I
Oh,
was
God,
thinking,
yeah.
I was like, oh, I could put, traps in here. And I was like, you know what? I could do regular traps. And I was like, nah, fuck that. We're going to do weird traps. We're going to do weird ones that make no sense. Like a saw type trap on the display case, the shotgun on the door, mines that are do banishment as well as fragmentation. Weird stuff. Great stuff.
We're gonna sit down privately after this and talk about your definition of great.
As the DM, great is whatever I say it is.
Very good.
Who's to say? Anyway, I guess that wraps it up on our end. I'm glad that we're going through this. I'm glad that I'm seen as a mean and or cruel for putting this on a little bit of a cliffhanger and a little bit of the script reversal, which I always enjoy doing. I like leaving my readers on a nice little bit if I can, especially when it's in the sense of here. This just means you got to come to the next session, Angel. That's all it means. But with that, we will close that out here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being with us in this endeavor, for coming and listening to my stories, coming and listening to watch put the players through their paces. And of course, as I said before, keep your ears and eyes out for the new possible session that will be opening up. It's probably going to be on Saturdays. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to figure out when we get there. I'm going to be finishing working on that and make sure I have the right people in place for it. I'm going to try and make sure it's a whole new set of new folks for you guys to make fun of, as well as enjoy watching me put through their paces as well. There are talks of a possible third one, but I may just wind up doing some one-shots and workshops later on for people, like making monsters and making stat blocks. But we'll get there when we get there. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I like having these nice little bits and bobs and situations happening when it comes down to the nit-gritty. And so as for who we're going to be rating out tonight, as is our tradition, we have a couple of individuals to rate out to. We have DZ is playing Asylum. Neon is playing Bloodborne. That's really about it on the nose. And so let's go, and we're just going to if there anyone else interesting doing Dungeons and Dragons currently. There are a few, but they've been running for just as long as I have, so I have no idea if they're actually getting off or not. So FBI, open up! No! You can't make me. So let's go ahead and just go and raid into my dear friend DZ. She is playing Asylum. So she's playing a very spoopy game, doing the spoopening. Very fun, very chaotic, very goofy. A wonderful VTuber model. Those of you who can't keep it among yourselves, you'll see why. But she is a great person and does a lot of good stuff. And I will see all of you either later on this week or week after next for more D&D's times. Thank you for being around. Thank you for being a part of this wonderful experience. Have yourself a good night, a good sleep, a good munch, and we'll see you around. Bye-bye for now.
Good night.